So welcome to Frugal Finance, everybody. Today we are going to look at an article from the BBC that states that there's around about 450,000 people in a rent arrears with their landlord. So we're going to dive into those figures. Before we do, hopefully you'll notice the better quality from this microphone that I've purchased here. So please do comment below, tell me if that's any better at all. I know this is the office environment. Some people are asking me, I go from the office to home and the rest of it. Obviously that's a sign of the times, but I film these videos wherever. It is a bit echoey here. So it'd be useful to know what your thoughts are on the new microphone if you want to comment below. Having said that, if you could smash the like button, it really does help the channel get out to a wider audience, and what happens is basically YouTube pick up that as a part of an algorithm, and then they pump it to a new audience, and then obviously people engage with the video, and then it snowballs from there essentially. I'm not exactly the smartest on the actual algorithm, but essentially by subscribing, commenting below, smashing the like button, you will assist the channel grow and we'll get out to a wider audience and help more people. So with that said, let's get stuck in. So the BBC have released this article that basically says there's 450,000 people in rent arrears, and that always makes me wonder about those sort of figures. And I think to myself, well, if that's the case, that sounds pretty bad, but actually there's so much information missing from that, and so many connotations with it, that we can't help but have a little quick look into it. So let's dive on into the article now and have a quick little read of what they're talking about. So here's the article from the BBC. So basically, as you say, the headline figure is 450,000 families behind rent because of COVID. And then it says that more than 750,000 have been behind rent in the last month. So obviously they're two different figures for a start. So 750 is overall and 450 is basically due to COVID. So I think if you have a read through the whole article here, some of the obviously issues here, people taking huge hits on their earnings. Renters tend to have limited savings, so they're more susceptible to fall behind with their rent, and unemployment is higher in those younger people who are probably more likely to be renting. And then obviously it touches on the eviction ban and all that kind of stuff. Obviously that's extended to 6 months, and at the moment there's also a bailiff ban, so if they still don't move out at the end of 6 months, you have to send the boys round, but obviously you may not be able to do that straight away because there's a ban on that as well, or a longer ban, as in like 2 weeks, 16 days, something like that. I don't know, someone comment below, I'm sure. And realistically, basically, it's all about the fact that people have fallen behind with their rent. But what made me really want to look into this article is the fact that the headline figure is 450,000 families behind on rent because of COVID. Yet there isn't really much other than a bit of waffle in here as to say why that is. So I know not all of you will probably agree with what The Guardian has to say, but this is a primary example of some further information on it. And you'll see here that while the average arrears are between £251 and £500, some tenants reported they owed the landlord more than £1,000. In my opinion, I don't think that's actually horrendous. If there's 450,000 people, or 750,000 people, depending on which way you look at the BBC News article, that owe £251 or more, that's probably not that high a number in reality. It's quite easy to make an underpayment, or if the council are paying your rent, they do silly things like where we are down in the southeast. A lot of the time the council pay they pay once every 4 weeks. And as anybody with a calculator can work out, that's 13 payments in a year. So at any one point in the year, right up to the last 13th payment, they're actually in arrears anyway. There's a lot of information here. Obviously, again, here it touches on the fact that 18 to 24-year-olds were hit hardest, most likely to fall behind with their landlords. But yeah, I don't think personally this is as bad as they make out, really. So obviously, as you can see, they are in a position where they're basically stating that £450,000 people, younger people, generally speaking, are in rent arrears with their landlords, essentially, since the start of the pandemic. However, by leaping over onto other articles like this one I found from The Guardian, I would say that, you know, the generalisation of that is it makes it sound like that it's really bad and that these people are really far behind with their rent. When the reality is that most of them, according to this article, are between £250 and £500 behind in their rent. Now, even up north on a 3-bedroom house, that's only a month's rent, generally speaking. So we're not talking the kind of doom and gloom of everybody being 6 months behind in their rent and, you know, there's all manner of issues here. What we're actually talking about is maybe a collective debt. So if, say, they have to pay £500 and they've only been in a position to pay £400 for a few months, then obviously that is a collective debt which might have added up to the £500. So personally, I don't feel it's as bad as the headline figures, and they generally never are when you dig down into these. But I see there's a common theme with obviously younger people between the ages of kind of 18 and mid-20s, 25, that kind of thing, struggling again, because they tend to be the kind of gig economy, and they obviously are still possibly in education, and they maybe haven't found their footing, stabilised their life, that kind of stuff. So that age bracket has been hit hard by the pandemic, and obviously this is an element of that. So I thought that was a really useful review of that information, because I'm sure there are lots of people that probably look at that headline figure and think, Jesus, how are we going to ever get out of all of this? You know, I think in reality we're talking, you know, maybe a month's rent at worst, probably less for some people. And as long as they don't kind of compound that issue, then I think they will continue to, you know, get on themselves on a level footing. So I hope you really enjoyed the video. Please do comment below, smash the like button, or do all those things that the YouTube algorithm loves. And if you would like up to £100 worth of free money, please do use the link in the description below for Trading 212, where if you set up a new account with them and you credit some money, then they'll give you a free share up to £100. So it's £100 worth of free money potentially. So if you want to have a look at those, there's other links in the description as well. So with that said, please don't forget to smash the like button, and I shall see you next time.